I have created colors.html document and the colors.css, that's external style sheet. So if you look at the colors.html document, we have the right in the header, we have the link where we link the CSS external style sheet, and then we have the header, okay, then this H1, the navigation, and then we have a couple of sections inside the main tag. We have section ID all, section ID about, section for ID services, and I think we have the footer as well. So colors are a fundamental concept in web design. All right, and then we have different ways of applying colors to HTML elements. All right, basically we have 3 ways. We have the color names. So I will head to the external style sheet and write a couple of comments here. So colors. So we have color names. So with color names, right, we have about 140 color names, 140 colors. All right, like red, blue, purple, light green, or yellow, gold. So all these are color names. And then we have RGB, and RGBA. All right. So RGB stands for red, G for green, and then B for blue. All right. And then for the RGBA, we have the red, green, blue, and then the alpha, which determines the transparency of the color. Okay, so we have color names, which we have about 140 colors, and then second one is RGBA, that's red, green, blue, and then the RGB, red, green, blue, and then RGBA, red, green, blue, and alpha. So with those 3 colors, we can generate about 60 million colors. All right, so which means you have more flexibility when it comes to combine these 3 colors. All right, and then the value of red, green, and blue can be generated by using any of the value from 0 to 255. All right, 0 to 255. We're going to see that practically shortly. All right, and then finally we have the hexadecimal color. Right, hexadecimal color. Okay, so with this color, I mean hexa means 16, right? Just like the way we have octa as 8 size, right? Nona is 9, decimal is 10, obviously, right? So hexadecimal actually means 16. So which means we need 16 characters, all right, to form colors. So from these 16 characters, you can pick 6 characters or 6 digits from the 16, and then it will generate a color for you. And how they come about the 16 characters is the combination of numbers and letters, right? So numbers from 0, we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then there is no any other number again, right? If you want to come up with any number at all, right, it has to be from those 10 digits, right? So to complete the remaining characters, to make the hexadecimal 16, or they introduce letters, so alphabet like A, B, C, D, E, and F. Now if you count everything, should have 16 characters. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Right. So which means from these 16 characters, right, you can pick 6 to generate a particular color in CSS. So let's see how we can use each of these color one after the other. So we're going to start with color names. I'm going to save this. So this is actually an external style sheet, colors.css. All right, and then this is the HTML document, colors.html, and it's loaded already in the browser. We have this document here. So quickly, I'm going to style the H1 here. H1. So external style. So using color names. Color names. Color names. I can say H1. So color. So I can say green. Right. Save this. Then refresh. So it's green color now. So you can change this to another thing and say color using another color name and say red. Right, so it's red. I will comment this out again and say maybe blue. All right, that's changed to blue. We have other color names as well. So for instance, we are using VS Code, right? The moment you type out the full column, right, you can use your control space, right, to get some other options. But I don't really know why it's not giving me options that are related to colors. But anyways, I will just type out particular color. Okay, good. So you see we have light blue, different color names actually. So anyone you want, you can select from this particular color. And as you can see, look at this light blue. It has its corresponding hexadecimal code. This code you are seeing right here, you see hash ADD 8E6, right? Is called the hexadecimal. Right. We're going to see that shortly. So, but then I will go for this light blue. Save, refresh, and then see it has changed basically. So this is how we use color names in the CSS. So again, we have our 140 names in CSS. But then we sometimes we may likely want to use other colors or combining colors together to give other. That we might not really be able to achieve that with color names. So that is where RGB and the hexadecimal color code comes in. All right. So let's look at another document that we can. Okay, maybe this. Maybe. Okay, I'm going to create. I'm going to create another section actually, or maybe the home. Okay. All right. Let's go with this H2. So I only want to target the H2 that is inside this section with an ID of home. Because if you look at this section with the ID of home, it has this heading, and the heading is H2, right? If I move, if I proceed, look at this, and this section again with an ID of about, it has H2. So which means if I select H2 in my external style sheet, so colors.css, I say and say color light coral, say if I refresh, so all the H2 in my document, we have that color, that color style, right? As you can see, this is actually an H2, H2, but I only want this particular H2 here. So that way we can use descendant selectors. We have different selectors in CSS, and one of the relational selectors that we have is the descendants, right? Descendant selector. So what I'm going to do is back to the document. What I'm going to do is I'm going to target this section with an ID of home, and then use the H2 descendant to target this particular element. So to achieve that, what I'm going to do is for the selector, we'll say home false and then H2. So very simple. This means that select the H2 element that is inside the element with an ID of home, and then apply the style rules that is inside the declaration block. So save this. If I head back to the browser and refresh, then you see we only have this element now, which H2.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so but right now, instead of using color name, I want us to see how we can use the RGB color in CSS. So I'm not going to use this color name light coral. So RGB color, right? So we type out the RGB this way, then you open bracket and closing bracket, or you can call it a function. All right, in program we call this we call it parentheses, or we call it a method or a function. All right, so RGB. Then now inside this bracket, right, we need value for each of these color. R for red, G for green, and then B for blue. And I mentioned that you can select any value from 0 to 255. So 0 being the lowest and then 255 being the highest. All right. So which means if you want this H2 to have a red color, that means that you have to set red to its highest value and then set other colors to their lowest. So which means if I want red color, I'm going to say 255, comma 0, comma 0. So you can see this actually gives me red color. So 255 means red should have value of 255. The second value is for green, and then the third value is for blue. So this is how it works. So let's check. If I refresh now, go, it has changed to red color. So if I want color green, I believe we know what to do, right? So I just commented this line, right? So I'll say color RGB. So red has to be 0 since I want green. I want color green, right? Then G has to be 255, and then blue has to be 0. So save to the browser, refresh. So we have green color. And if you want blue, you know what to do, right? So color, comment that first, then RGB, and I'm going to say 00255. Then we have blue color. Refresh, and then we should have blue. And of course, you can combine colors together. Now, for instance, so I've connected that line as well. I'm going to say RGB. I want 255 2550. So which means if you combine red and green together, it will give you yellow, right? As you can see. So red, green, we give you yellow color. Save to the browser. We have yellow. All right. And you must really use 255 and 0. You can just pick at random. So, so for instance, if I say red should have maybe 80, then I want, oh, sorry, RGB 80, um, maybe 170 and 240, uh, 2, maybe, yes. So this is more like under blue color, maybe like blue, or if, yeah, I guess maybe blue, or sky blue rather. All right, so this is how you can use RB color. So if you want black, that means you have to set all the color to their lowest. So R color first, RGB. So to see that in action, because okay, anyways, it doesn't matter. So 0, 0, 0, 0 give us black color. Save to the browser, refresh. So we have black, even though that's the default value for that text color. Then you can see from my editor, we have black as a color. And of course, you can use this color picker. You get the point. You can use this color picker. Just scroll. Then if you are okay with the color that you want, so you can as well adjust this here. If you don't want red, you can go to yellow, green, blue, like that. Then you see, you get to see the color value RGB. So which means at this point, red is 57, green is 145, and then blue is 148. All right. So that's that. And then for white, that means all the value has to be set to the highest, right? So I want white color. It's going to be 255, 255, no, and then 255 is giving me white color. I mean, if I refresh now, this is going to disappear. It's there actually, but because the background color of the body is white, so if you place white on white, so I mean everything is going to be white. So that's why you can't see that text. And if I try to highlight, you see, if I try to select it, you get to see the text right there. Okay, so I think I'll just use this last one. Comment this last one just to get the text right there. I'm not saving you. The document actually, the way the document I want to save, but no, I don't want that. Okay, so that's that for RGB. So we have the RGBA. Okay, RGBA, and I mentioned that this A is alpha, which means it determines the transparency of the color, and the value is from 0 to 1. All right, from 0 to 1. So to see that in action, I'm going to set the background color of the section with an ID of home. Yes, the section with an ID of home, or maybe the header. Yeah, let's go for the header. Okay, this header right here. So I will head back to the browser, to the external style sheet. So this is RGB. Let's look at RGBA, RGB, RG, RGBA. Right. I mean, it's there at the top. So save some time. So I'll select header and say color. So if I actually want black, now I want background, black background actually, black background. So using RGB, right, for black, that means we have to set all the color value to their lowest value, right, at 0, 0, 0. So this will give us black color. And for color name, all you just need to do is to type out black, right, and still give it the same color. I mean, black, and you have the same color. But using RGB, we have 0, 0, 0. Please, the comma is very important. You have to use comma to separate each value. So if I save this, head back to the browser and refresh, what's happening? Background color header. What's going on? Oh, RBA. So RGB. So you can see. So RGB is the right word, please. Oh, that was a mistake there. Then if I refresh, good. We have this. So the reason why this guy is in blue, I mean the anchor tags or the anchor links, the links right there in blue is because that's the default color, or purple or blue, right? Then I'm going to set color to white. So using RGB, going to be 255, 255, 255, right, for white color. Then to the browser, so that you can see this text, Scottigen actually, Scottigen. So now for A, so I'm going to introduce the A for the background color. So RGBA. A again is for the transparency, and the value is from 0 to 1. So you can have 0 0.2, 0 0.4, 0 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, and then 1.0, which is the highest value. So let's start from 0 0.1. So you see 0 0.1, going to refresh. So you can see the transparency of the color. All right, so it has changed it. So this way, if you have, for instance, if you actually have a background image, right, and you know how to use color perfectly, right, there is a way you can create an overlay color on that background image, and it's going to come out nicely. Don't worry, I'm going to introduce us to linear gradients shortly. I mean, how we can combine colors together to create nice colors. But then let's keep on with the value. So I'm going to set this to 0 0.5. So it's getting darker actually, as you can see from the editor. So if I head back to the browser and then refresh, you see it's getting darker gradually. Then if I give it maybe 0 0.8, it's getting more darker, as you can see. Then so let's say 1, that's black, complete black actually. So this is how you can, get the transparency of each color. So it mustn't really be black. You can play around with other colors, right? So other values for each of these color type. That's red, green, and blue. So next one is hexadecimal value color. And I mentioned that hexadecimal means 16, right? Because decimal is 10, uh, nona is 9, um, octa is 8. So hexadecimal is 16. So which means we need 16 characters. And we started with numbers 0 to 9. I mean, from 0 to 9, there is no any other number you can come up with because any number you want to generate has to be between 0 to 9, right? So since we have 10 characters, so which means we need 6 more characters to complete the hexadecimal value. So they have to introduce alphabet, letters, right? So from A to F, we complete 6 characters. And if you count this, then we should have 16 altogether. So what this means is that the lowest value is 0. So this 0 is equivalent to 0 that we have in RGB. And then F is equivalent to 255 that we have in RGB. All right. So which means if I need a red color using hexadecimal value, I need to set R to its highest value, which is F. So to generate colors, you need 6 characters from this hexadecimal code. Okay, so you can consider these characters as code. All right. So to use hexadecimal, we start with the hash symbol. So what I'm going to do first is let's type hexadecimal color code. Right. Let's see the document so far. Okay, maybe we should play around with this paragraph. Okay. And the paragraph is the one we have in the home section with an ID of 4. All right. So using descendant selector, that's one of the relational selectors we have in CSS, right? We can simply say #O and then P. So this will target only this paragraph here because we have other paragraphs in this document, but we only want to style this paragraph. So to do that, I will say ID selector O and then paragraph. So this means that whatever style rules that we have in this declaration block will get applied to the paragraph that is inside the element with an ID of home in our HTML document. All right. So I'm going to use background. I mean, you can use color property. You can use background, anyone you want. So I would say background using hexadecimal code. For instance, if I want black color, I mentioned that you need 6 characters, right, to come up or to form a color in hexadecimal color code. And you need to start with this hash pounds, right? Hash symbol rather. So if 0 is the lowest value, right, it means that to get black, we have to set all the 6 digits to 0, right? So which means 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. That's 6. So the first 2 is for red, the next 2 is for green, and then the last 2 is for blue. So RGB. That is how to come up with this color. So save. If I head back to the code and refresh, so we have background color is now black, right? Now if I want to make it white using hexadecimal code, for RGB, remember we set each color to their highest value, right? And then for X code, we mentioned that F is the highest. So which means for color, for if you want white, we need to set red to its highest value, which is FF. So FF for red, then FF for green, and then FF for blue. So this way we have white color. If I head back to the browser and refresh, we have this white color. So I'm going to increase the size a little bit so that we can see what's going on. So I'll font size, maybe 22 pixels, just to make it more visible. Okay, nice. So white color. I'm going to comment this out. Now, if I want red, I believe by now you should know what the value should be. So if I want red, that means I have to set red, red portion to its highest value and the other colors to their lowest value, right? So FF for red, then 00 for green, and then 00 for blue. This will give me red color. Refresh, then we have red, right? Then for green, so RG, so green is the next. So say color 00 FF 00 should have green. So someone should tell me if I want to generate blue. So quickly, please tell us. Someone should just, or you can echo the answer if you can, please. So for blue color, it's going to be what?
Zero zero
00
FF
what? 0?
00
I didn't get that, please.
0000FF.
All right, great. Oh, so that means we are following along actually. Nice, 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 nice. Okay, 0000FF. So that's we give us.
0000 FF.
Thank you. So 0000FF give us color blue. All right, nice. And so just as I've mentioned, you can pick at random, right, from the 16 characters to generate a color. But note that the first two code, right, or the first two characters is for green, red, then the next two is for green, and then the last two is for blue color. So which means if I have color like this, color hash, and also remember to start with hash, otherwise uh, you won't be able to see the color. So if I say 12, that's 1, 2, and AD, and maybe 5F. So this is more like a green color. Yeah, okay, a dark green. So which means 1, 2 is for red, AD is for green, and then 5F is for blue. So if I save this back to the code and refresh, then we have that particular color. Okay, so that's that for the three ways of setting color values in CSS.